All right, we are live. We are live. We are live. We are live. Let me see here. How will I do this? I'm gonna send Kyle an invite. There we go. All right. Let's see here. Will it work? Let's see here. I'm waiting for Kyle. Let me see here. I think I did that right. Hello, Denver, Colorado. You know, I lived in Colorado for 3 years. I was in Colorado Springs, so uh, I I really love that state. Actually, I'd move back in a heartbeat, but I'd have to see. I don't know. It's kind of pricey up there. Um, let's see here. I think I sent him the invite. Yeah, I did. So we're waiting on Kyle I PhD. In case you all haven't seen him, he's the gentleman that's on here that is going completely across the United States in terms of finding down ballot candidates, state races, etc. The work that this man is doing is just absolutely unbelievable. And so I'm really excited for you all to get a chance to hear him. If you haven't seen his TikTok already, again, it is Kyle I PhD. He is candidates that we probably haven't heard. The Hey Miss Atlanta Creole. Um, he is just doing wonderful work. I always say he's doing yeoman's work because he's finding candidates that we are well unaware of. And there's one that he did earlier today that I really, really want to talk about. Um, I hope I hope I did this right, y'all. I'm sorry. So I'm waiting on him. I'm Let me check my guest. I sent him an invite. Um, Let me take. So, what are y'all thoughts about the events of yesterday? I'll be honest with you. I have concerns. It's not normal what we're dealing with, yet somehow, because it's him, it's normal. And that to me is just tells me that we're in a really, really bad place, where we're normalizing the fact that, okay, this happened back in July 13th. Now it happened yesterday, but we're gonna just be expected to go on like nothing has happened. And I mean, we almost forget that the ear is not even supposed to be intact, but somehow here we are. Let me see here. Again, we're waiting on Kyle I PhD. He should be in. I have a couple of questions for him. What are y'all thoughts on the state of politics right now? Uh-oh, my kids are getting in, y'all. Um, what are y'all thoughts on the state of politics right now? Because right now, I feel like this is Kamala's race, and we have just some the polls out there. I don't believe they're real. There's just no freaking way that they are real because this thing shouldn't be close, and his circle is getting smaller. Even his support, those folks are okay. He said he'll be there in a sec. He just texted me, y'all. Um, but his crowd sizes obviously are getting smaller, and when I see the news say things like it's too close to call, I don't believe it. I do not believe it. And if they would just tell the news for what it is, exactly what this man is doing when he's doing it, then it really, really wouldn't be close at all. But there was something, Tiffany. Hey, uh, I can't right now, Sonny. If you would send me a message, I'd love to know what you want to talk about. I'm waiting on someone to come in. Tiffany, how are you? It's good to see you. Uh, Kyle should be here in just a moment. Let me see here. Are y'all talking? No, no, no. I can't really see him, so I'm doing this from my phone because I just walked through the door. Hi, Grace. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to ignore you. My apologies. Thank you. I'm glad you all could be here. We're waiting on Kyle. Like I said in the beginning, for those that were already here, this gentleman is doing some serious work in terms of finding down ballot candidates. There was one that he talked about in North Dakota earlier today, where I understand wholeheartedly where he was coming from with it, because there's so many times where we go to the polls here and there is no one there.
Bye
So
bye.
there he is.
Hey,
How are you, sir?
hey
Can you
there.
hear me?
Can
I
you hear
hope.
me all right? I'm just getting tapped in.
Yes, I can hear you. How are you, sir?
Good, good, Rod. Thank you so much for having me, man. I'll switch on the video here in a second too.
Sounds good. All right. I was just telling everyone, the few people that we have in here, that the work that you're doing is absolutely phenomenal. I saw a couple of times here some videos that you did today about some very important races that are happening in states that are being ignored. Like, for instance, I saw the woman that was in North Dakota that said she needs help. She's strapped for cash. And
Yeah,
I think those of us that live here in the state of Alabama can resonate with that, because I cannot tell you how many times I've gone to the polls and there are no Democrats on it. Like, it's just straight Republicans. And so I spend most of my time at the ballot, just, writing my own name in. So I got plenty of votes for representative, judge, council. So,
that's amazing. And
yeah.
yeah, I mean, Rod, that's a major theme of what I'm super interested in. And what really pulled me in with her post, I think how what everybody felt was that she was a forgotten candidate, you know?
Yes.
And I also have been talking with Kirsten Christensen, who's running for Senate in North Dakota,
Okay.
and my feeling is that like that is kind of like a forgotten Senate race. And again, to expand, right? It's not just North Dakota that is the forgotten state.
Right.
I have races I've been following in Idaho with the same pattern, and then obviously to your point, close to home for you is Alabama,
Right.
and man, when Shamari Figures, emerged at the DNC, and
Yes.
like the viral response to him on the app, like I think there's a real hunger and a real opportunity for growth, acknowledging these underdeveloped, these places that just need a little bit more love.
Yes. Yes. And I think I told you before, it was so funny when I was looking at the DNC and I saw that. I was like, wait a minute, I know that last name. And there's not very many with that. And turns out he was one of my students, cousin, which is pretty cool. But yes, I agree. And I think one of the biggest problems here in the state of Alabama, and maybe others like it, is that the National Democratic Party doesn't really pay us a lot of attention. And so these people have no opportunity to hear what the message even is, because, again, here in the state of Alabama, like other conservative states, we benefit the most from these social entitlement programs that Democrats try to push. And so we allow conservatives to build the narrative around Democrats. And so I'm always concerned about that. And TikTok has given us a platform that we can really push this out. And if you're in a relatively close location, you can continue to keep the message out there versus, Facebook and Instagram. They really limit your ability to do that. And so
Yeah,
I see a lot of times when I post, I get the same 3 likes. I'm like, man, what in the world is going on with these folks? Now, Threads seems to be coming along a little bit here. I see now you only get the one hashtag that you can do, so you can't like make it a massive amount of people to see it one time. You have to be very strategic with it. But I'm going to be enough with myself here. I have a couple of questions that I wanted to ask you and just kind of get people interested. Because again, like I said at the top, I think the work that you're doing is incredibly important. Because I don't believe that I've ever seen anyone really hone in on like these down ballot races, which It's kind of like a football game. You know, the real battle is in the trenches. We
Yes,
get all
dude.
excited with the quarterbacks and the receivers and the running backs, but if you don't have that offensive line going with you, you ain't going anywhere. And that's the thing that I try to tell people about Vice President Harris. She can win this White House, but if she don't have the Senate and the House to work with, then what are we doing? What are we do? We're going to have more stagnant, divided government, and the thing that should scare the heck out of everyone. Do you really want Mike Johnson in the line of succession for presidency?
Yeah.
I swear that dude is like the evil boss villain at the end of every movie.
Right.
So my first question to you is, would you be willing to tell everyone just a little bit about yourself and what you're doing?
Yeah. I just want to respond to, uh, your sports analogy. The idea with leave no dem behind, the kind of movement we're pushing here is a full court press for
Okay.
Democrats. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like no race uncontested. And there has just been a huge, honestly, lack of investment, certainly in terms of like direct financial support to
Right.
so many of these campaigns and candidates, man, like at the state level,
Mhm.
frankly, even at like the US House level, even for US Congress seats, which we need to flip for Kamala, like
Yes.
there are candidates like Kwesi Smith that are literally not getting any money from the DNC. Like the DNC is, I'm not here to badmouth, establishment Democrats, but
Right.
I am going to point out the legitimate shortcomings that the candidates tell me, which is that like
Mhm.
Kwesi gets an endorsement by the DNC, but like $0 because they say his race is uncompetitive. But man,
Yeah.
my feeling is like I'm going down a rabbit hole here a bit, but
Mhm. Oh, that's good.
if we have a pool of money to help people like Kwesi, and we can just deliver like 25,000 to him,
Yes.
which it's not enough for a whole campaign, but it would be a spot of legitimate help, right?
Yes.
Like that's kind of the idea with what we're building here, right? In terms of grassroots community directed assistance to these down ballot candidates.
Right.
And I didn't have this mindset. So now I'll get back to answering your question.
Mhm.
Um, I initially went viral on here like 6 weeks ago, and you have a very passionate fan in the comments. I'm going to shout them out because I appreciate you being so respectful to me.
You sound
Yeah, we see you. We see you, my friend. Real Sydney. Hello, hello, hello.
Hi, Sydney.
Um,
I'm sorry.
it's fine by me. So I went viral literally out of nowhere, and like
Yes.
6 weeks ago, right? White dudes for Harris. Okay, so first, I came on the app because I was really upset after the Biden
Yes.
debate, and I'm worried about all our futures. I'm sure you can relate to that. Like
Yes.
literally distraught, and I was like, I just need to like make a video, one video every day to try to influence even one person just to care,
Absolutely.
right? And to try to do the responsible thing and make sure that the former president doesn't come back into office.
Absolutely.
Um,
Yes.
but dude, as well as I do, the energy was not conducive until Biden dropped out and Kamala came in.
Oh, I agree with that. Was that you that started White Dudes for Harris?
So here's the thing. Let me break that down for you because
Okay.
I went viral for it, and a lot of people have like, uh, I'll put it this way: people on TikTok credit me with it because I was the only one that was like factually promoting it before it happened,
Were you
but
walking
I
down the
didn't.
street when you did that?
Yes,
Okay, I saw the
yeah,
video.
yeah,
Yes, I saw that video.
yeah. And dude, it was crazy. It was crazy. And oh my God, Rod, I have this video I've been meaning to make to because one of my friends literally just DM'd me that morning. He was like, "Dude, when are we doing the White Men for Harris call?" And I was like, "Damn it,
Yeah.
I need to see it." And I was like, "All right, let me just walk out the door and just record this quick video." And that went mega viral.
It
You know
did.
what I mean?
On my old page before it got banned, I actually reshared the video and talked about. I was like, "Hey, listen, the energy's there. We got white guys now. Listen." So,
Yes.
oh, it's amazing just how like the flipping of the candidate. Because I'm like you. I was upset when like Biden was basically forced out. I'm like, yo, this dude had no intention of getting out of this race. But now just seeing the massive amount of enthusiasm for Vice President Harris just shows me it was the right move, because I try to compare it to the Obama thing, but then I turn around and I tell my mom, I'm like, it's not the same. This is something else. And I think because at least when Barack Obama went against McCain that first time, we were never scared of John McCain. We were like, no, I just don't agree with his policies, but he's an American war hero. He's a good man, all of that. But man, this thing that we're dealing with, man, it's fucking scary.
Dude, I was literally thinking about this with like Mitt Romney. I was like, in retrospect, Mitt Romney isn't that bad of a guy, but at the time,
Mhm.
dude, I know you feel it the same as I. In like 2012, I was like, hell no, we can't have Mitt Romney. We got to have Obama. And
Yes.
obviously, I'd make that choice every time. But
Yes. I'm talking about, I'm selling the story. I'm like, yo, he had his dog riding on top of the car when they went on vacation, and he wrote off 47% of Americans. Like I was all in, but now looking back, I'm like, you know what? Mitt Romney might not have been that bad. And this guy, 45, nearly had him killed on January the 6th. Mitt, I don't think people realize Mitt Romney almost walked to his death before that security guard told him to turn around.
I didn't know
He
that.
started running. But it's just amazing how far, we've come from like that being the most divisive thing. Like, I can't believe I'm saying that. I'd rather deal with Michelle Bachmann all over again. Like,
Wow, that's a deep cut.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean,
because she seems like child's play compared to Marjorie Taylor Greene or Lauren Boebert. Which, by the way, they're the party of family values and Christianity, but you got one that cheated on her husband, and the other one being fondled in the theater. Amazing how that works. And then Matt Gates is whatever it is he is. I let Kevin McCarthy continue to tell that story, but but I'm gonna move on with my questions. I'm sorry, I get excited when I start talking. So, my question to you is, what gave you the idea of just starting to focus solely on down ballot candidates? Because, me, I'm all about the national attention, and then I'll focus on like the state of Alabama. But I've never thought, I'm going to pinpoint each one of these races in each state and make sure that my mind, I guess, I don't know if I'm ADHD or what, it does not work that way. Like, I'm all about a broad picture, but I have never thought to focus on. Oh my lord, these folks are just.
that's all right, Mr. Smith. Please continue. I got
But I've never thought to just, really focus across the board, because, like I saw in the video earlier, these people are struggling. I keep going back to that North Dakota thing because the way she was talking about she needs help, I was like, damn, I feel that, because here it is so freaking frustrating that, I get all amped up when I'm at where I'm like, as soon as I get out, I'm going straight to the polls. And I get there, I'm like, well, I guess the most impact I'm going to have is voting on this amendment. Like,
yeah. Yeah, so I can help fill you in on that, and it kind of relates to the story of like where I came from, at least on the app. And what's crazy, man, is like the White Dudes for Harris event, like that basically, catapulted my count essentially, right?
okay.
And and to your point, like a lot of people just trusted me. People just built a very strong bond with me, and that was only a 4-day period. I posted on Thursday, and then I found out about the White Dudes for Harris call being organized on like Friday. I started promoting it, and then we had it like Monday night, and it was just like a lights out, like awesome event, right? But after that, I tried to promote some of the other Zoom calls, which were cool. There were a lot of cool, good calls. But they kind of petered out, and I didn't really know what my lane was on the app
Right.
because, I mean, a lot of folks can report on the same things, the big national stories, and like, and it's all good. Like,
Right.
obviously, Kamala is critical, right? That's
Yeah,
mission number one.
absolutely.
Um, but it really was just a process of trying something um, and just seeing what people responded to. And
Hmm.
I didn't know it was gonna I didn't know it was gonna work, but I'm just responding to the positive feedback of realizing that when I was like highlighting a candidate who needed some love, there was
Yeah.
this outpouring of positive response from the community, right?
Mhm.
Just like all that positive energy flowing back. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna follow that feeling. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yes,
To its logical
absolutely.
conclusion. Yeah.
Yes. Oh man, that's good. I'm still laughing about the fact that I remember that video of you just walking down the street like, "Hey, white guys, like, where are we at?" Like,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
so my next question to you is: are there any races in particular that you think we need to keep an eye on? Like, where is a place that we have a legitimate shot to to win a race that's probably not really on anyone's radar, but you think that hey, this could be the surprise of the evening on November the 5th?
That's a good question, and it's tough. No, I'm not going for Trump. I'm going for Kamala Harris, but no. Um, so there are a few different levels. There are a few different levels. I think like strategically in terms of like one, holding the U.S. Senate,
Right.
two, flipping the U.S. House, and then
Yes.
three at the state level, um, flipping as many of the state legislatures as possible as far as we can.
Yes.
Um, and yeah, just to do like a quick run through of that, like to hold the Senate, we most likely need to flip one of two races: Debbie McCarcel Powell in Florida or Colin Allred in Texas.
Yeah, right.
And I
Which I
think there's
think
a
he
lot of
has the best
attention,
shot.
but
Correct. I'm sorry.
what's that?
I say Allred has the best shot. Is am I not mistaken?
You know, it's tough to say honestly. I think Debbie McCarcel Powell's polling is better
Oh,
going
okay.
against her. But like, here's the thing, man. I think it's really hard to predict, and I think there will be a lot of surprises for us. Those would be if either one of those flips for the
Right.
Democrats. That would probably be the biggest win because a lot of people feel that like the U.S. House is trending in a direction where Democrats can probably pick it up.
Hmm.
But yeah, getting Florida or Texas flip would
Yes.
be, I think, it would be the news of the night. Even if a lot of people are kind of like, a lot of people know to expect that to be the surprise. But yeah,
Right.
that would be the easy answer.
Yeah, let me see. Colin, flip that seat. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm in agreement with that. I do not. Oh my lord, I do not want that guy. I
yeah,
get so tired of hearing his nasally voice. America. I'm like, oh my.
yeah.
The thing that gets me about Ted Cruz, and I know I'm jumping off subject here, I still don't understand how does Heidi Cruz or anyone in his family still look at this dude like this dude accused your father of one of the worst things we've heard of. He insulted your wife, and you went back to kiss his butt.
Hmm.
Cancun Cruz, I absolutely. Let me see here. I have a couple more. I'm sorry. Uh,
Sorry.
Now, you talked about your fundraising earlier, or helping these candidates do. How can people go into your page and find exactly how to donate to these candidates? Because I think that is an important thing. You've raised thousands and thousands of dollars for these candidates,
Hmm.
which is awesome, and I'm sure they are thankful for it.
Absolutely, yeah. So I try to make it really easy. And if you just go to my page
Mhm.
and look at the link tree on my profile,
Yes,
inside of that is a web page with several buttons with honestly different kinds of campaigns. It's a choose your own adventure. And we've seen a huge impact from small dollar donations because they add up. I mean, we've had
right,
hundreds of people giving, you know, between $5 and $25. And then within our community, I've been really impressed by the generosity. Like there have been people that come into a live and drop $500, $1,000. I've had people pledge $2,000 in our community. So it's mostly, the vast majority is the small dollars between 5 and 25. But I would say like the balance of like contributions that like really tips the scale, it's kind of like 50-50. Like that big sum of like small dollars, and then a few people who are like, all right, I'm gonna go in heavy on this.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
okay. That's awesome. Wow.
Yeah, and I see Carl in the chat, who is a Florida State House candidate, whom I've been really proud to support, and we've talked to us. So,
All
Carl,
right. Carl,
yeah,
I will, if Kyle don't mind showing me, I will try to go back and follow your page, and I'll be sure to share your stuff as well.
yeah,
Because
Carl sees like he's yeah,
yeah, I'm telling, this is man, the work that you're doing. I just, it's so important. Uh, Let me see. Now, do you have any other social media platforms that we can follow you on outside of TikTok? Because again, we're trying to reach as far as we can, because we got to get this information out here, because TikTok obviously it is for a certain demographic. And then when you have things like Meta World, that's a whole different generation. There might be people that are in my family's, like my parents' age range, where I have to be very careful with what I say. So, how can we find you on other platforms?
and Carl's shouting out there that because of the help from our community, he's very generous to credit me personally. Carl's going to be able to secure a major endorsement from Equality Florida. So
Whoa!
yeah, Carl, let's
All right.
go.
All
But
right.
yeah, I have been slow to expand to other platforms because the work here has been so consuming, but I am now on Instagram and Threads with my full last name, which is, and I'll be entirely real with you. I started with my full first and last name on this platform, and then during White Dudes for Harris, like many people have encountered here, I got
Right.
a threat to be unalived with a firearm, right? And this is pretty common, yeah. So I like filed a police report, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna change the last name to an I, just so people can't immediately find me. But
Right. Okay.
yeah,
Wow. Man, that's
yeah,
super. I
it's so
think
common, dude. It's so many
this,
of my friends have gotten these exact threats to their DMs. It's horrible.
that is insane. I'm sorry you had to deal with that. It's amazing just how these people, because you think differently than them, that's what they want to result to. Uh, I think with my last account, because I had finally crossed 10,000, I was like, okay, maybe I can really really reach some people now. Um, and I posted or not a video, but I did a video, and I stitched literally what Donald Trump said on his Truth Social. That got flagged. Then they went back and flagged a video of something else I did where I didn't record anything. Matter of fact, it was a video of me talking in the dark with a black shirt on. It got flagged. I still don't know what for. And then I got a community guidelines violation. Then my account was just gone. And it told me that I violated the Youth and Safety Act, Community Guidelines Safety Act. And so I emailed them, and I was like, exactly what did I do? Never got an answer, and was just told that, hey, you're not getting your account back. So I made this one, and I saw you on my last. I think I sent you that in a text where I saw your profile before, and I tried to go back to find you. I was like, what the heck was his name?
Oh no. I think I might have screwed myself over with the branding, because for me, like, I got used to PhD, right? But I think a
Right.
lot of people are kind of thrown off by that, like Kyle I PhD. It's like it's too many things, PhD is like uppercase, lowercase. The branding is probably not ideal, but yeah.
No, it works for me now. Look, I know where to
Okay.
go now. But at first, I was like, "What?" It was several of you on here that I needed to get back and follow. You are one. I love to go and listen to just Rational Boomers speak.
Yes, dude. He's
So
awesome.
he is, man. He cracks me up because he says the things that I want to say, then I'm like, I don't know, I might get called into the office for that at work. So,
Yeah.
uh,
I'm sorry they robbed your account, dude. TikTok is so confusing. There's so many things that like they can't really explain, and
no.
it's just been you learn as you go and suffer.
So a lot of times now, I don't even like put like a cover page on anything anymore. I'm like, no, it's just gonna have to be me talking because I don't know what I did to violate a community
Yeah.
guideline. But they can delete it after the election. I just need to make sure we get through, this current cycle. And so that's why I want to focus on trying to build the other platforms as well because you and I've talked before about uh, we can't just focus on this election. It's those daggone midterms that tears us up every single time. That's how we lost the Supreme Court. Or, well, I mean, we never
Mhm.
had it in our lifetime, but that's why it's seemingly out of reach now. Is because where we get relaxed for whatever reason every 2 years, they get energized, and that's because they're playing a long game. They know what exactly they want, and then you get Mitch McConnell up there blocking up nominations and then rushing others through to fit their needs. So that's a real reason why I just really, really appreciate the work that you're doing because we cannot lose that. And then when you're working on these state races, I don't think people realize just how much conservatives control in these states, even states that really are more like us because they're paying attention to the most minor of details. And so, uh, what did you say? Exactly. Yes, I agree. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I was reading that as it came in. And so I think the work that you're doing can be that long game, just because, again, in those off election years, there's small races that you start realizing like, oh, the house is almost even. Now, what's going on here?
Yeah. And we have Lexi Milton from Tennessee here as well, along with Carl Cisak. So we have two
All right.
state level House representative candidates in the chat
Yeah.
here. So, yeah, I mean, the political environment on this app is awesome, and I agree with you, Rod, and to the folks in the chat. Like, so look, we have a clear sight down. This is what I've been telling people. Like, we have a finish line, right? We're sprinting for the next 7 weeks, but
Yes.
whatever this is, whatever has begun here is I feel a movement that we're
I
going
agree.
to organize on and carry forward, right?
Yes.
Especially looking at the midterms in 2 years. Yeah, we got 50 days to go and then 2 more years, right? To build and to educate and to motivate.
I, I agree wholeheartedly. And my final question for you, and I'm gonna let you go. But actually, you're in earlier time than I am. Uh, are there others that you're working with that are trying to do something very similar, or is it just you? How how far do we need to spread? Because I'll be happy to share you every single day. Because again, I just cannot, folks. If you are in this chat, I cannot explain to you enough exactly what he's doing because there are candidates, and I do a pretty good job of going down, a website to look to see who's running where. But there's some candidates that you were pulling up that I've never heard of. I've never seen the name. And I keep going back to the North Dakota one just because I just felt that one in my soul, the way she was asking for help.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, there's nothing more frustrating than knowing. So I live here in Madison County in Alabama, which is a growing area. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Huntsville is the largest city in the state now. So at some point, this red area is going to trend at least light purple. But we'll never know because we don't have the candidates to run. We're in the 5th district, so that's all of North Alabama, basically. And this area alone, kind of like what Atlanta's doing to Georgia, should start being able to swallow up that rural vote because these people are coming from California. They're coming from Northern Virginia, and we know how they vote. So I really, really appreciate it. So my question, like I asked before I went on my long thing here, are you working with anyone else? Is there anyone else that we could shout out for this?
Yes, so there someone who comes to mind immediately is Courtney So Official. I don't know if you're familiar with Courtney So Official,
Never
but
seen her.
he's been awesome. He's been, picking up the work exactly in lockstep and helping to champion a lot of the same candidates, as well as expanding the roster, of
Right.
folks that we can acknowledge because it's more than any one person could do on their own. I have seen a shift on the app of people picking up on this energy, and frankly, Rod, folks like you who are like, "Oh, this is great. I want to do
Yes.
this." So Courtney is like a lock. There is okay. So the team account Leave No Dem Behind
Okay.
is piloted by my friend and my strategic partner Ashley D. So she's someone who I work with closely on everything. We don't always credit her publicly because she's quite content and effective working kind of in the shadows. But
Ah,
I would just like for people to know she has been in lockstep with me with everything, and now
right.
she's more actively engaged via the Leave No Dem Behind like team account.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I would say, and then also my friend Sean Nelson
Okay.
from Iowa, who is just a really kind-hearted guy. Yeah, and Ashley's right there under Leave No Dem Behind, and
Okay.
yeah,
Wow.
my buddy Sean has also been uplifting candidates, and he's helped me with stuff behind the scenes, technically like building out like a Discord for us.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
he's a really smart guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, Rod, and then I would be remiss if I didn't pitch to you once more. Oh my God! And okay, so there's so many folks in my community in the chat. Cheyenne,
I was reading
five
some
twenty
of the
five.
chat.
Cheyenne is my superstar mod. I mean, I have a collection of good mods, but Cheyenne is there for every live,
Yeah.
working so carefully to rigorously enforce a positive and friendly atmosphere. And
Yeah.
I mean, I recognize Betsy, Chrissy. Oh my God, I need to see the other names pop up. But like
Yeah.
so many folks in my community have come through the chat, and
That's awesome.
they that's really the heart of what we're doing on the app. Like it's so many people who see the work and they choose to uplift it. And Kara, yes, Kara, thank you. Didn't want to leave her out. Man, yeah, it's just all the community members that are so dedicated. That is what makes the magic happen, man.
Wow. Yes. Indeed. That's awesome. Uh-oh.
Sorry, I got a doorbell here, but
Oh, okay. You don't need to go, do you?
I don't have to. Let me just get this real quick. Do you mind if
Okay.
I stay on and I'll be right back? Yeah,
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Yes, sir. To answer someone's question earlier, they were asking why wouldn't I run. I've considered it. The biggest thing here in the state of Alabama is it's the way we sometimes do things. It kind of puts us in a hard position. And what I mean by that is so many of these people, because, like I said, the National Democratic Party pays no attention here. They kind of just tune you out. Like it's almost a sin to be a Democrat. She went to Alabama. This is a bad time to let you know I'm a Georgia Bulldog fan. But I do believe that Madison County will eventually it'll eventually get to that place, and then we'll have solid areas like Huntsville, Birmingham, Mobile, Montgomery. But the way they gerrymandered this state, in fact, this state decided to ignore the Supreme Court. Now, this Supreme Court uh, told everyone here in the state of Alabama that, like, hey, you need to redraw those lines because you're not like accurately representing, you know, citizens in your state. And they basically told them, hell no. Which to me is just like, man, you ignored an order from the Supreme Court, and they, of course, they did nothing about it.
You know
Uh,
what though, Rod? On
what's
the
that?
other hand, okay, so I was gonna pitch you that we should do a podcast where we do an interview with one of these uh, unsung heroes, these Democrats in forgotten places. But also, and I believe that, but also, dude, if you were to run, I will fight so gosh darn hard for you.
Oh, man.
You will go viral on this app, man. Like, I will light a fire that will never be forgotten to see you run the most beautiful race in Alabama that you can. So I just want you to know that, but also podcast if you want to do that.
I'm all in on both. I love the podcast idea. I would love to run in the state of Alabama. I'll just put it to you like this. Now, depending on the poll that you read, we're somewhere between 44th and 50th in education. And every single time we get ready to have, I'm in the Huntsville area, whoever just asked. But every single time we get ready to go up for the lottery, someone allows some group to kill the bill. We don't have the state lottery here. So we don't have a lot of money outside of what the state allocates and whatever the federal gives us going towards education. And I always tell people, if you just look at the money that we're spending in Tennessee, Mississippi, Florida, and Georgia, for people just going to buy lottery tickets, imagine what we could do here. So what my idea in this state is, can we encourage enough people to be open-minded to try something new? Because you always tell me how the Democrats are the source of all of your problems, yet from north to south, east to west, in this state, we're red. I mean, there's no ands, ifs, and buts about it. And the only reason this state is afloat, I think I did a video the other night about this. The only reason this state is afloat is because of Huntsville. In the Huntsville area, we are supported by a ton of federal projects. And it blows my mind when I hear some of the people here say things like, we need to cut spending. And I'm like, you all do realize, like, our jobs in this area are tied to that federal spending.
I'm in California, for those asking. I live in California now.
Yes. Does anyone, while I'm at it, does anyone have questions for Kyle? I wanted to bring him here for anyone that might be on for that are from me. I would love for you all to get a chance to ask him questions, because he knows more about these down ballot races than I could ever answer.
Yeah, Sydney, do you want me to call on you? I don't know if you're saying me to ask me a question, but just fire away. Come to Sacramento. Yeah, Cara, I basically live there. Yeah, no, I was serious. Like, DM, we can meet up, grab a coffee, chat. Okay, don't want to. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I then I'm just gonna expand on my own personal story. I grew up in Oregon.
Okay, okay, so you're West Coast
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, West Coast, but I have lived in some other places. So I lived in South America for a year after college
Okay.
in Uruguay. So I kind of got, my Spanish conditioning there. I lived in Baltimore for 1 year,
All right.
and I love Baltimore. It's a great city, but yeah, I wanted to come back to the West Coast, and I have been around Davis, California since I started grad school in 2015, and obviously I completed that. The PhD isn't just a thing. I got one of those. Yeah, no, it's not like Dr. Disrespect or Dr.
Right.
Lupa or so. Not that you need one to do what I'm doing, but heck, I got one, right?
Right.
It's part of me. But yeah, I still live around Davis, California. I live in, Cara grew up in Sacramento. And yeah, Cara, I live in Woodland now, and I don't typically reveal that much personal information, again, because of the
craziness,
violent nature of, yeah. My PhD was in neuroscience. So I studied how cells wire up and form, long-term memories.
Yeah. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. So what made you interested in politics the way that you are? Because a lot of people, because it is polarizing. So a lot of people shy away from it. They don't want anybody to know their views. And I used to be that way until I started realizing, especially when like MAGA really started to blow. I was like, these daggone people they're never afraid to say what they feel, no matter how wrong they are. They're loud with it.
Right?
So I started. I was like, no, you know what? I can't do this, and I can't do another 4 years of old buddy. And so that's what kind of prompted me to speak out. And when Joe Biden, my first viral moment was when Joe Biden had that bad 25 minutes in the 90-minute debate. I kind of called out Democrats because I thought they overreacted. I'm like, I thought it was well known that the man stutters and words don't always come out. But if you could hear what he was saying, excuse me, hear what he was saying during the debate, it it was coherent sentences and he was accurate. Versus the other guy lied 34 times during the debate. Uh,
Yeah, and I feel like that's why, like Rod, you and I are on the exact same level. I felt the exact same about that whole situation. And again, in retrospect, having Harris come out, it's been the best thing ever. But yeah, in general, I feel like that's a reckoning that the Democratic Party basically just sidestepped because, I mean, Harris is extraordinary, but we got lucky that we had her and that people stepped up to embrace her. And yeah, I mean, it reminded me of Obama's first debate against Mitt Romney in 2000 in the 2012. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But if you listened to what he was saying, yeah, he was like low energy, but he was right,
he was
and it,
right.
it bothered me,
Yes,
and it bothers me so much, man. Like, why don't people listen, dude?
that's what bothers me as well. And I was telling people, I was like, you better go listen to Representative Alexandria Ocasio Cortez because she was telling folks, and this is where Joe Biden outsmarted everyone. She was telling people, these people that are behind the scenes that want him out, they want the whole ticket gun. They don't want her either. If I'm not mistaken, I think they really wanted Gavin Newsom. And I like Gavin Newsom. I think he's good looking, he's well spoken, and he can take the fight in a way that we need. But I do know the one vulnerable thing that they're gonna, or two for that matter, that they're gonna say about him. They're gonna try to talk about crime, especially in San Francisco, and then they're gonna try to bring up the fact that him and his best friend's wife or whatever happened there, uh, because you can only cheat on people if you're Trump.
Right.
That rules for thee. But that was the one thing I was really worried about. I'm like, we're taking a risk, and at the time, let's just be real here. A lot of people they were skeptical of Vice President Harris because we didn't know anything about her. But now looking back in hindsight, I'm like, this might have been like the plan the whole time because now they don't know how to attack her on anything. That's why they're going after her laugh or is she black or is
Yeah,
she Indian? So
yeah, it's really crazy, and I
agreed,
feel
Lexi.
like, I mean, their playbook is to be, let's be honest, it's to be racist and sexist. And with Kamala Harris, it was like, I feel like everybody just felt that she probably wouldn't run because everybody felt that that was like such a liability because of how little we think of our society, because of like Trump supporters and how racist and sexist they are. And again,
Yes.
as they have proven to be. And I guess this kind of like brings us back to the beginning because immediately I felt the black women organized call. They stepped up. They wrapped her up, right?
That changed the entire dynamics. I especially because this thing was organized like a few hours after she was endorsed by President Biden.
It was like the next day,
Man,
right? It was like Monday.
it, that was the most remarkable set of events. I cannot wait to see what the history books have to say about that moment because I don't think that if you gave this an opportunity to happen again, I don't think it would ever work in this way. Um, and
Sunday. It was the same day. That's wow, mind boggling. You guys have good memories. I was like, it couldn't have been the same day. That would be crazy. But they were ready, dude.
I,
My good.
some join my team. What is that? So now is Miss? I'm trying to go back and look up Carl and Lexi. Are they their bio or their pages in your link tree?
No, so I don't have every candidate in my link tree. And this has been, man, it's been tough because I never wanted to start a spreadsheet. I just wanted to talk about the people that were on TikTok. You know what I mean? But
Yes.
so many people asked. I was like, okay, I get it, and it's a good idea. So I'm going to make a spreadsheet, and people got really excited about that. It's been so hard to update. I Here's actually what I should plug. Down Ballot Dems is a collaborative project. It sounds similar to Leave No Dem Behind, but it's a group of creators who wanted to take on the organization of a serious spreadsheet and
Okay.
website with candidates, ballot measures, voting,
Right.
registration deadlines. So that's awesome, and I do have that linked in my bio. It's after the fundraisers. It's under the voter resources section in my LinkedIn. Yeah,
Okay. Perfect.
yeah.
Perfect. Well, I am going to let you get out of here. To all of those of you that are in these state races, uh, if you could somehow comment on a video or something so I can know how to go back and find you because
Yeah, Lexi and Carl, and I can connect you guys as well. I'll make
yes,
sure you guys get
please. Thank
connected.
you. I
Yeah.
would love to go and follow them. I'll be happy to share. Lexi, I believe, is in Tennessee. So
Yep.
that's right in my backyard. Matter of fact, she may know what I'm going to say when I say this, but I am about 20 minutes from the state line. So I'm like right there. Not to go play the lottery. I have to go over there. But anyway, she asked, do you think that all of this is because of, like, do you think it's because of racism?
In what sense? I mean, in a lot of ways, it's a profound driver of what is happening, right? I mean, it's the undercurrent, right? It's the undertone of a lot of basically all the concern with Kamala Harris stepping up into this candidacy, right?
Right.
And for good reason. Like, I mean, you see it in the recent viral stories, the conspiracy theories that are made up to slander the Haitian community. Like,
Yes.
man, it's I don't want to swear on your live, but I find it to be so offensive and so un-American at its core. Yeah.
And you have people like Laura Loomer, who's up there talking about, you know, smelling like curry or something like that. It's just what makes me so angry about it is they say that, and then when you call them out, they want to be the victim.
Yes.
uh,
Can I?
like the woman that started the whole Haitian immigrant thing. Now all of a sudden
Can
she's
I?
like, I have regret. I didn't know that it would take off like this. No, what has happened is she's gotten a taste of her own medicine, and it didn't feel good. You know. Uh,
Can
so
I? Yeah. Sorry, I just wanted to add one more thing because this is a pattern that I've seen, with the MAGA community. It is what I would describe as a weaponized ignorance, where, and a pattern that I saw repeatedly in my comments was if I called out their behavior. So, for instance, like when, people were being really mean to Gus Walls, like when they were attacking him, right? Like Tim's son, when he got emotional at the DNC. I said, like, well, if you come for Gus, you come for all of us, right?
yes,
Um, and I had back to back comments that were like, what are you talking about? You're crazy. Nobody's coming for you. And then the next comment was like, I am literally coming for you and I'm armed with a weapon, like a firearm. And it's this ignorance of like, they're like, nobody's doing that. Or like, you're imagining things. And the other one is like, I'm literally going to hurt you. And it's just this sick, like, dynamic. Like they're blindfolded, but they're all playing into it. Man, we got to end it.
we do. So a news organization that we have here. I'm going to end on this. I promise. It's called WAFF, and they'll post a thing. And sometimes I can't tell. Like I think WAFF is like trolling us, but they'll post a story. MAGA World jumps out there and they start talking all their lies. And every once in a while, I'm like, you know what? I'm bored, and I'll respond to them with like some true facts, and then they'll come back at me with some lies, and then they'll say, I'll say, well, do you mind citing your source? This one woman's response. Oh my God, you're a Biden supporter, aren't you?
That's so funny.
I just started. I couldn't do anything but put the laughing emoji. I was like, "How did you just leap to that?" So you're acknowledging that y'all don't do anything but lie, and now JD Vance is telling us on TV that, well, if we have to make up a story to get you to talk about it,
Dude, you should clip that. You should clip that. That is really funny. That
Oh,
was really
it
funny.
was so hilarious. I was just like, hey, do you mind citing your source? I'd love to read the story. That woman said, oh my God, you're a Biden supporter, aren't you?
Oh, you concern yourself with facts? My
Right.
goodness.
How
The
dare I?
audacity.
But Kyle, I want to thank you so much. We'll have to do this again. We'll continue to talk. To everyone that stayed in here, thank you all so much. Let me see here. I'm getting some puzzle piece or something. But anyways, sorry, I'm trying to drag it into the
No,
thing.
that's okay. Yeah, if you when you're on live for about 40 minutes, they make you do that. So
Oh, okay, okay. Uh, it is, Ms. Laura Ford. You're absolutely correct. To everyone in the chat, thank y'all so much for joining us. I'm going to continue to push Kyle because, again, I've said it 1,000 times during this live. The work that he is doing is so incredibly important because he's focusing on the races that we're not talking about. Let's just be real here. Thank you, Sydney. Grace, if you're still there, I think I saw Kennedy's name. Sorry, y'all. These are some of my students that got in.
that's all right. Everybody is welcome.
Yes, and so I really, really appreciate just the work that you're doing, man. Because I think you are single-handedly, you and the few of your friends that are working with you, y'all are changing the landscape. As my daughters here are, could y'all move away, please? They're trying so hard to be in this video as they're supposed to be in bed getting ready for school tomorrow morning.
Well, my love to you and your family, man.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So, hey, we got more work to do. We'll continue to push real information out there, and I'll be in touch with you, sir.
Let's be in touch. And folks, if you're in the chat, if you follow me, please follow Rod because he is a true fan, wonderful voice on the platform. And thank you for giving me this opportunity, man.
Thank you so much. We certainly appreciate it. I'm gonna give it back. I'm terrible with shapes on my hands, so
No,
have
that's
a
right.
wonderful evening.
All right. Take care, buddy.
All right,
Okay.
have a good evening.